Hi everyone! So, I'm going to do a video today on something that I've been meaning to do a video on, but I really wanted to do some reading about it and make sure that I wasn't giving anybody false information and other stuff like that. So, today's video is going to be on why you should not shave a double-coated dog, especially in the summer, and why shaving your double-coated dog does not make them cooler in the summer. So, if any of you guys watching have a double-coated dog, a lot of you will have been tempted to, I'm sure, at one point or another, to shave your dog. Now, this is not something that I recommend for any double-coated dog, so anything with a thick undercoat with a harsh top coat, so Great Pyrenees, Huskies, Malamutes, Samoyeds, Shepherds, anything with that thick coat, especially if they have pointed ears. So Collies, like I said, Huskies, Malamutes, Eskimo dogs, Samoyeds, anything with pointy ears. A lot of the times you'll see people shave their Pomeranians. That's just a bad idea. Bad idea. And the biggest reason why I don't recommend that you shave a double-coated dog is that chances are it's not going to grow back the same way. Now, some people get lucky. I have seen dogs with double coats that have been shaved 2 or 3 times, and their coats come back nice and full like nothing ever happened. And like I said, these people are lucky. Most of the time, when you shave their coats, they don't come back the way that you took them off. And there's a couple reasons why this happens. The first is that although this isn't 100% proven, there's a lot of discussion about whether or not the actual act of clipping them with a short blade ruins the hair follicle so that the fur can't physically grow back. Now, like I said, I've not actually seen anything that 100% confirms this, but the other reason why you don't want to shave a double-coated dog, and I have seen this, is that when you shave a double-coated dog, what happens is the undercoat will normally grow back, but the top coat will not. And the reason for this is that the undercoat is usually shed twice a year. Now, many dogs shed all year round, which can usually be linked to environment and nutrition, although some dogs have other issues, but I won't get into that. So what happens is when you shave your dog, the undercoat will grow back fairly quickly because it's kind of used to being pulled out and growing again. But the top coat will very, very rarely fall out. The only time it will fall out is when it's damaged or when it's physically pulled out, and then it'll regrow. So what happens is you shave your dog, the nice fuzzy undercoat falls out, and then the new fuzzy fur grows back in, so your dog looks fuzzy again, but it doesn't feel right. So most people will opt to shave them again, and then this starts an endless cycle of constantly shaving your dog, and after 2 or 3 shaves, you will start to notice that your dog's coat is not coming back with the way you thought it was going to. So the number one reason why people come into my shop, at least, and say, can you please shave my double-coated dog, I shouldn't say number one, it's usually tied between 2. The first is most people will say, it's getting hot out, my dog is getting hot, I want you to shave their coat. Or 2, my dog sheds like crazy, and I don't know what to do, I can't keep up with it anymore, take it off so he'll stop shaking, or he'll stop shedding. Now, both of these requests, comments, whatever, have like absolutely no foothold to stand on. First, your dog is not going to be any cooler in the summer if you shave off its top coat. Um, it's a huge misconception that by taking off the fur, you allow the cool air to touch your dog's skin, thus making your dog cooler. The problem is that firstly, your dog does not sweat the same way you do. When you sweat, just about all of your skin will sweat. Dogs don't do that. They get sweaty paws and goopy ears, and that's it. They don't sweat like we do. So the whole idea of sweating is that once the moisture hits the air, it cools because just how it works. I can go into a huge long conversation, but we won't do that. Oh my goodness, I've got cat hair on my shirt. So once the sweat hits your skin, it evaporates, which kind of brings the heat away with the evaporation, so you feel cooler. This doesn't happen with dogs. So people think, okay, well, if I shave off the top layer, then the cool air will be able to hit the skin and thus make my dog cooler. But the problem is that if you're trying to shave your dog because it's hot, there is no cool air for there to cool your dog's skin, and you've taken off all of the protection that they've had against the sun and against all that hot air, so now you're just baking your dog. So this whole idea of, oh, well, I'm going to shave the top coat off my dog, I'm going to shave the dog, and it'll be cooler, is absolute nonsense. You would not take the insulation out of your house in the summer because you want your house to be cooler. That's not how it works. The only thing I recommend for people to do with double-coated dogs in the summer is to shave their bellies. And the reason for that is because they will normally, most dogs, you'll notice if you have a double-coated dog and you leave them outside, they will find either a cool spot or they will dig in the dirt and lie in the dirt because it's cool. And because their stomachs, if you shave their stomachs, the cool can actually get up against the skin, but their back's protected from the sun, they will actually be more cool. If you just shave them off, you're just allowing all this sun to beat down on your dog. The other thing I hear a lot of is this whole thing about, oh, if you shave your dog, it won't shed. No. It's still going to shed, it's just not going to shed the big long furs that you're used to, so it's not going to look like it's shedding as much, when really it still is shedding, the hair's just shorter. So shaving your dog is not going to make them shed any less, and it's not going to make them any cooler. If anything, it's going to make them hotter. So, what do you do with a double-coated dog in the summer? Number one, I always recommend that you de-shed your dog in the summer when it's blowing their winter coat. This allows proper circulation of the air underneath the undercoat, so that if there is a breeze, it'll be able to get through the fur, but the sun won't, which is how it kind of works. If you let your dog get really backed up with undercoat, then that insulation is not going to work the way it's supposed to, and you're just going to end up with a mess, because your dog's not going to be able to regulate its heat, because no cool air will be able to actually penetrate the fur, because there's so much undercoat blocking its path. And the top coat is designed, well, it's not designed, but it's been developed over time by your dog's evolutionary track to protect them from the UVA and the UVB from the sun. So if you take out the undercoat and leave the top coat, then proper insulation and proper cooling will happen. Another thing that I recommend, like I just said, is to shave their belly. This will allow them to sit on something cool and be able to absorb some of that cool temperature into their body without the sun beating down on their backs and making them hotter. Another thing is to not let your double-coated dog sit outside in the middle of summer in the middle of the day. I don't recommend this for any dog, but if you allow your dog to sit outside during the day, it's going to overheat, and if you don't give them anywhere to go, then they're just going to cook. If you're going to let your dog sit outside, I recommend that you do it early in the morning, before 10 o'clock, or later in the evening after dinner, and during the night if your dog is okay with staying outside by himself during the night, or at least until you go to bed. This will sometimes be outside and do his dog things, but he's not going to cook under the sun. Obviously, you're going to want to keep a lot of water around. Your dog is going to drink a lot when it's hot outside. I recommend using a kiddie pool if your dog spends a lot of time during the day outside, so that they can go and sit in the cool water and then, go and find a spot to hunker down. So that's my little splurge about double-coated dogs and shaving and such. If you have any questions, leave them below. And I hope you learned something, and I really hope you don't shave your double-coated dog. It's just a bad idea. It just really is. It's a bad idea. Nobody benefits from this, except for maybe your groomer, who will probably suck the money out of you because you are going to do something silly like shave your double-coated dog. And by the way, a little tidbit here, dogs do get sunburns, and I don't know how many dogs have come in here, and people say, oh my god, he's got dry skin, what do I do? And he's got a sunburn. So please keep that in mind too. If something happens that your dog is so incredibly matted and there's, absolutely no way that you're going to be able to remove the mats and save the coat, and you have to shave the dog, keep that in mind, because it's not fun to get a sunburn, and especially when you leave your dog, if you leave your dog outside for a long period of time, and he has a sunburn, and you don't put anything on it, and then you put him out the next day, and it's worse, and it's just not a fun idea. So I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoy the nice weather of summer, and pat your dogs, because it's fun, and I'll see you next time.